Welcome to the One Bloody Take movie podcast, where we go back in time several decades to browse the aisles of your local video store. I'm Paul.
And I'm Russ.
And today we're renting the 1990 movie Shock 'em Dead. So get your popcorn and snow caps ready while we give you our bloody take. Shock 'em Dead is one hell of a movie directed by Mark Freed. He is not much of a director, which you can tell both A, by the list of movies he's directed, and B, by watching the movies he's directed. The only cool thing I saw was that he directed some of the Jeff Porcaccio how-to drummer videos, and Jeff Porcaccio was an amazing drummer. So those videos are more about Jeff than Mark, but they are very well-known videos. And again, it's because Jeff was an amazing 70s drummer. He's like basically the rhythm of all of your favorite yacht rock, if you have any. There is apparently a Shock 'em Dead 2, but based on the information you have, it's been in production for quite some time, and we don't have any evidence that it's actually in process.
Yeah, the IMDb page still says it's open, but when I was looking into it, it's been open since 2015. So at this point, I know we've had COVID and a writer's strike that are delaying things, but 10, 11 years later, it's not happening.
You're gonna call it at this point?
I'm gonna call it. It's been shocked and it's dead.
You're gonna check your watch and give the time of death.
Even then, like,
unfortunately, I think of like all of the culty-ish bad B movies we've watched that they hint at a sequel. This is one of the few that actually, story-wise, you could make it make sense. Because, you know, the premise of the story is one that can infinitely be carried out without any problem.
Yeah, and they even leave it on a cliffhanger for a possible sequel.
I guess that's a cliffhanger. They at least hint to you that like this particular sort of thing can move forward. This movie that we watched, the original, they said it took 3 weeks to write and 3 weeks to shoot, and in my opinion, I don't know about yours, but that was the same 3 weeks. They're not, it wasn't a 6 week total thing. It was 3 weeks in total for everything.
Right. Like, I understand take 3 weeks to shoot this. That seems about right. I'm one of the laziest people I know. And because I'm so lazy, maybe it's a detriment because I don't know more people that could be lazier than myself. But I could do this script in 48 hours.
I don't know why it would take you so long unless you were handwriting it.
Oh, I plan on doing other things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying 2 days.
48 hours.
Sitting at the computer, then getting
minus
up.
The sleeping, minus breakfast.
Minus the sleeping, endless scrolling through nonsense. Yeah.
Doom scrolling TikTok for an hour and a half. It would take about 14 minutes, but I'd bill you for 48 hours. That would be the way it would
work. Yeah, no, when looking into what was happening with the second movie, there was a quote from one of the writers. It said when they were contacted about doing a sequel, and it says, it surprised the hell out of us when we were approached to do it. And it was equally as surprising how quickly we fell into the old rhythm writing together. Of course, it'll be a lot bigger and a lot crazier than the first one. There was no rhythm.
I was going to say, what do you in your mind, to your mind, Russ? What did that rhythm look like? Hey, I wrote this. Oh, cool, and like that. Would I imagine that was the whole thing?
Maybe he goes back to where he used to work and gets mad at him. Yeah, just send him. Yeah, okay, sounds good to me.
I'm writing this down. Revenge at a pizza shop, you say? Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Not 8 ounces of cheese. All right, I see. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, you know, again, at the end of the day, they've accomplished something. So, you know, that's great. Kudos to them. But there's no way that you fall into a rhythm of writing this. It's just churned out nonsense. Not to say like you can't have good churned out nonsense, but there's no elaborate production behind the scenes that gives us this type of movie.
The special effects when he becomes the rock star, I think, is the high point in this movie of anybody's efforts anywhere.
Yes. And that's with a fake, Halloween headquarters skeleton.
You don't
I
think that
think
was
it
a
was
real
Halloween
skeleton?
headquarters back then, right?
It was the
At
original
least
Spirit
locally. Yeah. Before
before
Spirit
White
Halloween,
National.
we would have Halloween headquarters in the one abandoned store in the mall,
Yeah.
and now they're all abandoned.
Now they're
So
all abandoned. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now it's just a town center. So the movie has a weird cast. Now obviously Traci Lords is in the movie, and we all know nothing about her prior to this movie, so that's fine. Um, the main guy. All right. When I go into these movies, I do kind of try to go into them as blind as possible, so I don't look up anything at all. And the main guy looks familiar to me the whole time,
Yeah.
but I can't place him, and I'm like jogging my memory as best I can. And for everything I know, I'm like, I know this guy, but I don't think I know this guy as an actor, which is a
Yeah.
really weird position to have to be in when you're watching an actor act. So he is Stephen Quadros. He is the fight professor, and he was the play-by-play guy for like Pride, which was precursor, maybe parallel to the original UFC back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he was the play-by-play guy, and Boss Rutan was the color man, and it was phenomenal. And they made their way to the States when they got bought by Strikeforce, and it's not all that interesting. But I had no idea that this guy was an actor. He was pretty good at the play-by-play and seemed like he knew his stuff. But
Yeah.
I had no idea he was an actor first, and I'm like, I think that's who this is. And then I finally looked it up, and that's who that is. So we had that guy, we had Traci Lords, we had Aldo Ray, who I knew because we watched Evils in the Night.
Yes. Yeah,
But
he was one of the henchmen.
I don't know if we had discussed it during that movie. He looks like I should know him from 50 or 60 different movies, and I don't really know him from most of his filmography.
Yeah, I think it's just a familiar face that we may have seen just like little bits here and there of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't anything that stood out where I was like, oh yeah, I remember him from that. Yeah, and we do get a little weird connection too with one of the record execs, True Donahue. He plays Hatchet's father in Crybaby, which was Traci Lords.
Also Traci Lords.
She was in that movie as well.
Excellent actress. So as far as overall, this movie felt like a soap opera. Like, this didn't play. I mean, it was cheese, and it was supposed to be cheese, and it was not very good cheese. But as I was watching it and I got deeper and deeper into it, it played out like a soap opera. And I only bring that up because the VHS cover looks like a soap opera cover. Like, it doesn't have. It's called Shock 'Em Dead. It's got some words on there that make me think, oh, this might be a horror movie. But the way that's laid out, that doesn't look like a horror movie to me. That looks like this woman is going to cause some problems for some different men, and they're going to have to come to that push comes to shove sort of moment with this woman. And like, that's what the cover conveys to me.
Especially if we change the facial expression on the guy just a little bit.
Well, I don't even need. I need less purple, a little less purple on his face.
Yes, less. Yeah.
And I know this is a deep dive, but it looks like it should be the cover for a Silk Stalkings episode.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I know. But going, I've never seen this movie until we watched it for the show. The trailer did nothing for me either. The at just the right moment in my history, the fact that Traci Lords was on the cover is quite literally the only way you could have convinced me to at least take a peek at this movie.
Yes, and in 1990, or if we're assuming this isn't a direct-to-video, which I don't know how it wasn't. In 1990, if I go to the video store, there is a 0% chance that this movie is not coming home with me. Because of that, though, they set an expectation, and they've also set an expectation with the trailer. In the trailer, they say "Shock 'Em Dead," 4 times, Traci Lords 2 times, even in her name pops up. Most of the shots consist of her, and she screams 6 times, 5 of them the same scream. So, not being familiar with her previous work, if I were to make an assumption as to what her previous work was, I would have a certain expectation from this movie, especially in 1990. So they're almost setting themselves up for failure by doing that, because I don't know how the average person who's renting this for that exact reason isn't then upset after watching it. And it's not even her. Like, I understand this is 4 years after she's left her previous job, and she wants to make a change. That's absolutely fine. She can fully do that. She doesn't have to do any type of work. But the cast around them, it just felt like, here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit. And it's never really anything that you would expect after getting what you got from the trailer or the cover.
I don't know, obviously, the history of the making of the movie or how it got distributed or anything of that nature. I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt, and I am not psychic, that they knew they had failed at making this movie. And the reason I say that is Traci Lords in the movie? Yes. Does she have speaking role? Yes. Is she an important part of the plot? Maybe. And I say that maybe in so much as that could have really been any actress. Like, she didn't do anything particularly spellbinding that you would say, oh man, I can't imagine if they had gotten a different actress how this would have gone down. But they knew, no pun intended, they knew that they needed to splash her front and center on this cover. This is a horror movie that they want to present to you as a horror movie, shock 'em dead. But she's the least involved in the horror of anybody in the movie, pretty much. And they knew, look, we have this thing that we have, and we were paid to make it, so we have to put it out by law, by rule. So the best thing we can do here is put a centerfold on the front and hope you perhaps don't notice that we don't utilize her in any meaningful, again, and I'm talking broad scale, I'm not talking specifics. We don't use her in any meaningful way in this movie. She's splashed on the front in the way that they had Drew Barrymore front and center in the commercials for Scream. But that's a whole different ploy, because Drew Barrymore is a gigantic actress and the rest of the cast was really good.
And then there's this shock value, with Scream.
Right.
Because you're not expecting that.
Right.
So you are now, what is happening? You're fully invested in the movie because of it.
Yeah.
So I don't view that as a lie.
No,
I view that as an aid to help you enjoy the movie.
It's a brilliant plot point to suck you into the theater and go, all right, I'm going to watch this new and see how creative they can be. It's Wes Craven and Drew Barrymore. I'm in. And then boom, she's dead right away. And you're like, okay, these guys have a lot of chutzpah that they're going to knock out the biggest actress in the movie before the credits roll. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do next.
Show you the end up front and then show us the movie.
Right. No,
it's But you see, I feel like the cover and the trailer also have 2 other problems with it. It says that for the girl of his dreams, he'd make a deal with the devil. He made a deal with the devil before he realized he even liked her. That wasn't the main.
No, and his deal with the devil was completely irrelevant to his love life altogether. Like, it's not. It wasn't for any girl at all. It had nothing to do with women whatsoever. So it's deceptive. And the other thing about this cover, and I'm looking at it and I'm staring at it at this point for 2 reasons. And had I seen this in the horror section, I legitimately might have questioned if it was in the right section. If like somebody didn't just pick it up and put it on the shelf over there and it's got to be reseated back somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe it's the purple and green of it. Like, it's very 90s with that Oakley sort of, with hypervisor colors.
Yeah.
But it nothing about this looks horror movie to me.
And I think you just led me to the answer of what I was just about to ask you. Is why is it called Shock 'em Dead?
I don't know. I
Well,
have no idea.
And I think based on what you just said, if we don't call it Shock 'em Dead, no one will know it's a horror movie.
Yeah. There's no. I think he's trying to electrocute her at the end of the movie in the pool, right? But,
no, it's just a snake. He just needs a snake in the water, and then he has to dump this. He has like a little potion or something he has to dump in.
so
I was very unclear on the specifics of the ritual. I felt like it was, if you have to bring out a kiddie pool as part of a satanic ritual, it's not a satanic ritual.
So he had her feet in the pool, right? And I'm
Yes.
like, okay, I don't quite know what's going on. And he had the snake to terrorize her, and I get that. And then in the pool was a bunch of aluminum cans, and then I thought, and you're right, it was a potion, but I thought he was like putting salt in there because that will help conduct the electricity when you put the
it
salt
could
in
have
the
been.
water. So I thought maybe they were leading to him shocking her dead, but even if he had done that, like that was just his choice. There wasn't like a rule like you have to electrocute your victim, otherwise it's no good. You can't stab him or anything else.
Yeah.
You have to electrocute this person, otherwise the curse continues. Like that's never. There's not. You're absolutely right. There is nothing about electricity in this movie whatsoever.
Right. Or even like lightning. Like I would understand like if his guitar sent out this wave of energy
Yeah.
or something along those lines. But it's just I don't. Yeah, I got to the end of the movie and I am so confused as to why this is called Shock 'em Dead, because no one dies from a shock or electricity or a supernatural power in any way.
You're right. Well, technically they do die from supernatural powers, but still not based around electricity or anything
Oh
of that
no,
sort.
no. It's there's something on top of it that then has to cause the death.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good.
No, no, it's not. And I really wanted to like this movie. I really wanted to like it.
I felt like it could have gone somewhere. Like
Yeah.
it could have stayed cheeky and been a decent horror movie, and it really didn't either. Like it started out like, okay,
Yeah.
here's the guy measuring the cheese at the pizza place, and we're gonna have this whole like, and he's got the hair when he turns into the rock star, and like they have a real guitarist in there playing the guitar for his parts, like a real super duper well known pro.
Yes.
And they keep doing that sort of zoom all the way in on just the finger so you can't tell it's like, but they know like they could film it in different ways to make that work, but like you felt like they were kind of going for cheesy on purpose, which I encourage, and I'm not knocking that.
Yeah.
But they kind of lost that too. Like they sort of stopped being cheesy after a little while.
It's like they flirted with the concept of making it good and then just gave up.
It's what happens when you only take 3 weeks to write it.
Yeah, because like I love the concept of this movie. I mean, it's not, it's a repeated story constantly through the ages.
Yeah.
But I'm always willing to watch a take on it because it can be very interesting.
Sure.
And it wasn't.
I am becoming more disappointed with the movie, and we haven't even started actually talking about the movie just yet. So the movie is Martin, our lead character, he wants to be a guitarist. It's his dream to be a guitarist. In the 80s and 90s, movies were flooded with the loner musician who becomes the superstar. So this was a common trope at the time. Not that it's not in reality now, but it was very common at that time. He gets an opportunity to try out for a band, which leads him to basically quitting his job because he's told, if you leave now, don't come back, which I want to talk about for a second. But And he does not do well in the audition. He's terrible at playing guitar, as it turns out. But fortunately, there appears to be some voodoo woman waiting for him as soon as he gets out of his audition, as if she knew he was having the audition that day as well.
That guy sucks. He's gonna need me.
I see the way he makes pizza. I know the guitar is not going to be any better, so I better watch where he goes. So if you leave now, don't come back. So 2 things about that. First of all, he works in this little pizza shack for, I'm assuming, like minimum wage at best.
Oh.
With a guy who's a complete chotch to him, just yelling at him over every stupid little thing. This job won't be here when you get back is not the threat that you imagine it to be.
Thank you. I was hoping it would.
I had no plans of coming back, to be honest. I'm surprised I came back today and there was no audition this morning. So I had, when I was younger, my sister is 3 years younger than me. So by the time she hits like junior year of high school, I'm out in the world on my own. I'm working for Blockbuster, as any adult would be at that time.
Makes sense.
And my parents went away, so she threw a party in the house, and she's an idiot, basically. And it was one of those deals where, like, you wanted to invite 10 of your friends, and they told the school. So entirely too many people showed up, and it became an utter fiasco. The Blockbuster I worked at was quite literally up the street from my house. And one of my friends came running up and was like, hey, there's a problem at your house. Your sister is getting your house torn down from the walls and she can't stop it. You need to get over here. I'm like, absolutely. And I immediately start taking off my, whatever I had on my pin and all that. And my boss said, if you leave, don't expect there to be a job for you in the morning. And I was like, my house is in peril. I'm leaving. If you want to fire me from this stupid Blockbuster job, that's fine. I'm leaving. And
besides, I don't come until 12 anyway.
Yeah, that's not morning anymore. As long as I don't get here at 11:59, we can both be right. And so I left. I absolutely left. There was no way I wasn't leaving. And he legitimately seemed surprised that $6.25 an hour wasn't enough for me to go, oh, maybe I should stay while my house burns down. Yeah. The idea of threatening me, for my job when this is the job is not very powerful.
No.
So we start out the movie, right? And we're getting this, and it's funny as I'm writing my notes, they're initially playing it in a really nice way where, like, I'm writing a note and then later on they're coming back and explaining my note to me, right? So initially I get, this is the worst version of Purple Haze I've ever heard in my life. Like, the worst. I'm like, I don't know what I'm in for with this movie, but if this is what they thought the soundtrack should sound like, I'm in deep shit.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, that was on purpose. So
what? I missed that, why it was on purpose.
So I think that the band, Spastic Colon. Sorry, I had to look at my notes. The band,
a weird name for a band that makes this type of music.
So I think the lead singer was untalented. And the band was being pushed forward because of Traci Lords, because of management. And I think that the lead singer had no talent, but had a whole lot of ego. Because here's the first 2 notes that I have. This version of Purple Haze is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's the lead singer singing it. And the next thing I get is the first guitarist interview or auditioning for the band. And he was pretty good. Like,
yes, I was confused by that.
No reason to kick him out, except that the lead singer didn't want the spotlight taken off of him in any sort of way, even though he was the least talented person in the band. So, like, okay, I see what they're doing here, and I'm all for it. And he's got the hot girlfriend, so he thinks he's big shit. And he wants a guitarist there who's not quite as good as him to play the role of second or third fiddle. And that's why they show you he's bad right away by giving you that terrible Purple Haze, because then they come back later with Martin, and Martin gives you Purple Haze, and it's it's pretty good. I mean, it's not Jimmy,
Yeah,
but it's at least serviceable
it's better.
as a cover for Purple Haze.
And with that, I I now understand why they did that. But my first impression was this is the beginning of the movie, and you're giving me this to start and expect me to invest my time. Like I don't think I was this upset by hearing a cover in the movie since Sheryl Crow did "Sweet Child of Mine" and "Big Daddy." Like the amount of anger that I was
at least she
filled with.
changed the tone of it when she did it, right? Like
Yeah. Oh no, this sounds exactly, and I do believe that. I believe if you are going to cover a song, you can't just repeat the song. You have to add your own style to it and present us with something a little bit different at least.
it was so bad that it took me like 2 minutes of going, I'm pretty sure I know this song, but I don't know why I
Yeah.
know this song. And I'm like, wait, it's Jimmy.
And as the movie went, I questioned if the director even liked this genre. I felt,
like hair metal.
yes,
Oh, okay.
I felt like they didn't, and they were poking fun at a lot of it. And even with the posters, we get a lot of different like I remember Wasp. There's David Bowie. Um, Martin is wearing the Sons of Liberty T-shirt, and I'm just like, this is not that. You're showing us what metal and superior music is, and then you're giving us this while a guy is oddly dancing around it. And I know that's what a lot of this is, but you can do it well, or you could do it like they did it. And I felt like they were almost mocking it at times.
So it's kind of, I'm not saying it's funny that you say that, but I think there's some substance to that. And the reason I'll say that is this, going back to the only good thing that this guy directed was those Jeff Porcaro how-to videos of how to drum. Now, like I was saying, like if you're not familiar with who he is, pick up any record from the 70s, and he was probably the studio drummer on that album. But no hair metal. Like Jeff Porcaro avoided that genre. He did not like that genre. Just didn't find, like, he never bad talked it, but like it wasn't creative enough for what he was trying to do. It didn't fit with him. Like the only drummer who would come close would be John Bonham doing the things that he did in a rock band. And Led Zeppelin's not hair metal. That's not what I'm saying. But
no,
to your point, if the only thing this guy ever did in real life was work with, like, yacht rock, jazzy kind of drummers, you might be onto something with him doing this as like a send up of the hair metal genre in general.
And I think because of that, that's where it falls short. Because you have this band, and I feel like they're being treated like a joke, and rightfully so, based on how they behave. But it just, when you're presenting us with what I believe is going to be a metal band and death, and we don't get the metal band, and that causes death in any unique way, it doesn't deliver.
No, because like you said, because they stopped short. Like they could have gone deeper into that. Into that, like if they wanted it to be an all out spoof.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm like pouring through all these things in my head now that you brought this up. So Twisted Sister puts out the album in like the mid 80s, right? And like the big song on there is I Wanna Rock. And and that starts out with the one guy getting yelled at by, I think it's his father, maybe it's a teacher. What do you want to do with your life? I want to rock. And then it starts. That's exactly the presentation that the voodoo lady gives to Martin. What do you want to do with your life? And he says, I want to rock. Because I wrote that down too. I'm like, that's weird. but maybe they're littering. Maybe we just didn't notice that they're littering this movie with all these little crumb trails of them making fun of hair metal as a genre, which I think hair metal gets too much mockery because of the makeup and the hair, but there's some solid music there.
Oh, and even then, like, Twisted Sister is different than Poison. Like,
yeah.
if you tell me you don't like Poison, yeah, okay. If you tell me you don't like Twisted Sister, but you're into the same type of, guitar music, then I'm like, okay, there's a problem here.
Right.
It's like I can understand it to some extent, but there are different levels of talent among them where they are a little more serious or not so serious.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The other thing they do in this movie that had me up in an ire, and I know I'm jumping around a bit here, but once Martin becomes the rock and roll demon, I guess we'll go demon. His name becomes Angel, and the first thing we learn about Angel is that Angel doesn't have a soul. So they move around from these subtle little things to like going just fucking nose on with the bullshit, and that was annoying too.
That when he was asked his name, it reminded me of the P tier Griffin.
Dry,
because he's like, "What's your name, Martin?" Then he realizes, that's my, so he has to change it and just belts out Angel.
Also, if he had called himself Martin, who would have noticed?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Martin from the pizza place? The only Martin in all of Southern California? Of course, Martin.
The guy that looked completely different.
Entirely different.
Couldn't play the guitar.
Different colored hair. Couldn't play the guitar. Worked at a pizza place. That Martin?
Perhaps there's two people on the planet that are both named Martin. There is a scene at the pizza place that I just want to mention because of it. I am so perplexed by something that happens later. But we have the one employee that comes in late. And when she comes in late, she exits like the bathroom, locker room, changing area. Because I guess you have a changing area in a pizza place that's,
behind the pepperoni mural. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, why did she come out of that door just to say she's late? She would have already had to come in to say she's late. So it's like she walked in, went into that room, waited a bit, came out to say, "Oh, I'm sorry I'm late," and went back in to change. But even with that, that's all a bunch of nonsense. Martin kneels up on the counter, and they've got the different size pepperonis to show you and the pizzas to show you where to put the pepperoni and everything.
16 slices go.
And yes, and either him or another employee has rigged it so you can move the pepperoni and peek through and watch everybody change.
Right.
So he is clearly obsessed with being able to see girls naked. And which
also, by the way, insinuates that girls get changed back there frequently enough that it was worth rigging up the spy hole in the back of the pizza shop.
They come into work with no bra and then put the bra on.
And they bra up. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's better than switching it, where you come to work with the bra and then take the bra off to make the pizza. So I just wanted to say that because he's clearly enamored with this.
He's also like, I don't think they ever specify, but he's clearly being painted as sort of a loser virgin. So that's part of the this is the only way he can see women's breasts sort of, thing there.
Yeah. His trailer park home is littered with comics. They're trying to let us know.
Gay people. Yeah.
Yeah.
They get to that later in the movie. The comics are for gay kids, which I didn't realize was a thing even in the 90s.
Yeah, and especially in 1990, by this point, they are becoming a little more mainstream. I mean, nowhere near what they are today, but they were definitely more mainstream than 10 years prior.
So, 1990, I'm 16-ish. I certainly know that comic books were for nerds and potentially for losers. But I never recall anybody picking up my copies of giant boobed women in spandex and going, "Oh, you must be gay." That was never a conclusion that watching Wonder Woman was going to bring you to.
Yeah. You kissed a girl? That's so gay.
They kiss guys. That's so gay. So this is our movie. Like, this is now we have to muddle through the rest of this movie. We get to we see our first. We see Martin get the job. Martin comes in when Martin comes in for his second audition. He's playing king of the road. He knows he's going to get this audition. He kicks fake Dave Mustaine out of the audition and, and plays his ass off and gets the job. And you can see in this moment too that the lead singer is a little hesitant to say that this guy should get the job. He seems concerned, but Traci Lords does not. Traci Lords knows that now she's got something to work with.
And he brags too, like, I'm the one that writes all the music.
Right.
Yeah, so he has a high opinion of himself.
And I know it doesn't matter. I understand that. And I also understand that this is being made in the early 90s, but really being played for like the mid 80s. But the lead singer is being painted, it's a little untalented, but he's being painted as sort of like this machismo guy. And he seemed so gay in this movie. And I understand that it doesn't matter. I'm not picking on him for it or anything, but this guy in this midriff top the whole movie, flopping his arms around while he's running, does not seem like the tough guy foil for Martin that they needed him to be in order for this sort of battle to work.
Yes. And to like Motley Crue, hairspray, makeup. But in the 80s, if you see them coming out of the bar, they're not to be trifled with.
No, they were terrifying.
Yes. Where I think that's what they're kind of doing. They're stripping away the scariness of it a little bit and showing you what they think is underneath all of that, which is just a guy being flamboyant and dancing around the stage.
And insecure.
So that's why I think the director does not like this music.
I really think the more we go, I really think you're on to something here. I think initially this movie started out as, hey, how do we make fun of these goofballs with their music? Because this is perfect timing for that, because this is just about the end of hair metal too, because this is what we're like a year out from Nevermind, and then that's the end of hair metal basically at that point.
Yeah, I think 80, this was 90, 89.
Yeah, Nevermind.
Like 2 years.
92, yeah.
92, I think.
Yeah.
I was a junior. Yeah, so 91, 92.
Right.
It's not, yeah.
So hair metal's at the end of its run, so this director is thinking this is his opportunity, because people are already sort of off the wagon, so he's not offending anybody but the actual musicians themselves.
Just kicking them on the way out the door.
Right. So Martin gets the job. Angel gets the job. I apologize wholeheartedly for that mistake. Because he meets a voodoo lady who's got no backstory, we have no information on her at all.
Yeah.
We're not in an area, at least as far as it's presented, we're not in an area where voodoo would be par for the course. Like we're not in New Orleans or somewhere like that. We're like, oh yeah, that's the voodoo block. Be careful when you go down that block. Like, just a random voodoo lady is like, hey, I'd like to help you with your life. And he was like, I'd like to play better guitar. And he's like, hey, great news. And he gets to play better guitar. It's weird.
They just make mention like, yeah, she's the lady that lives in the creepy house,
right? That
acts weird. Her house looked normal.
Her house looked fine.
So yeah, it was really weird.
The only thing creepy about the house was her, the lady with the face paint who was walking around asking you what your wishes are,
and waddling as she walked instead of walking. Like, are voodoo priests waddlers? Like, it was a weird choice.
I wasn't even aware that voodoo priests were like eye color changing type of people who puked a lot. Yeah. Like, none of it really adds up to any one particular sort of cult thing.
Yeah.
So she transforms him in the finest scene in the movie, where he's playing a double-necked guitar, but the necks are on opposite sides, which is quite the feat. And then he wakes up in his new mansion with these new girls who are there to service him in all of the particular ways that that word might mean. And he is immediately dumped into the rock star life. Basically, he's gone from being a nobody who can't play guitar to being what you would imagine the highest selling guitarist on the planet would live like, immediately overnight. And except for some questions here and there, he seems weirdly comfortable with it. Now, I realize he had a conversation with a voodoo lady and she stabbed him with a knife and all this stuff. I get it. But even in that, I can't imagine a scenario where you engage in that and then you're like, oh yeah, this is exactly the way I had imagined my voodoo exchange would pan out. So this is great. Like, it would have to be at least a little more concerning, a little freakier, a little... His hair is not only a different color, but a different length. That
and his clothes are different. If I went to sleep, I mean, I would drink selectively, but when I did, I drank a lot when I was younger. And okay, maybe if I woke up in different clothes back in my early 20s, I'd be like, okay, that's I must have done something. But
as long as those clothes were also mine.
Yes, yeah, if they were also mine. These aren't his.
Nope.
This is not his trailer.
No.
He doesn't know these people. They're not, like his hair's, like you said, everything about him is different. And he's just real casual with it. And I feel like he also quickly loses interest in everything he has.
Yes. Yeah. So there's this sort of theory that, like, the easier it is to obtain something, the less you appreciate it. So there's, like, all this video game emulation that you can do these days. So, like, I can at the snap of a finger, I can have the entire Nintendo Entertainment System catalog in front of me. So beating Mario, sitting there for hours and beating Mario, doesn't feel the same because they didn't pay $65 for it and I didn't spend 400 hours playing it. I just sort of sat there and ripped through it, and that was it. And it's the same sort of thing. Like, he didn't earn this spot at all. So there's no respect on his end for this position that he's in, because he just kind of snapped his fingers and fell to the earth for him.
Right.
But then that's exactly right. That's exactly the best way to put it. He loses interest in the exact thing he had wished for.
Right. And, like, especially it's in the house tour. At the very beginning, the house tour, he's already checked out of what he wants to do. And I feel like the only reason he goes back to that band is to shove it in their face, to be like, yeah, it's, I can do this now, even though they don't know it's him, which is pointless.
Completely pointless. There's the only revenge scene that he has, I guess, really, is going to the pizza parlor. And the scene where he goes to the pizza parlor is terrible. Like, why is he picking on anybody but the owner of the pizza place if it's a revenge scene? Nobody else did anything to him. Even in the scenes that we saw, like, it's not like the rest of them were picking on him. They were just kind of trying to live their lives and work at the pizza shop. I
mean, they're changing in the back room for him. If anything, they're doing him a service.
But they don't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know they're helping. Yeah, because when he meets the girls, if you are Martin and you wake up and there's two barely dressed girls in front of you that are just basically like, hi, I'm here to help you, and they make it obvious what help means.
I have some localized swelling that I need some tending to.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he was bashful and embarrassed and fumbled around. I mean, he does. It's the weirdest, and this is kind of what I was touching on earlier. We get nudity, but it's either really short or weird. So when he pulls down Michelle's, lingerie, he just kind of like cups her breast and then is tired of it. And then when he sees Monique, he's out on the balcony, and he sees Monique in the hot tub, topless, and not Monique, Marilyn. She's like, hey, you're cute, and then stands up. She's naked and goes, do you want to join me? And in the most disinterested way that anybody could show the maximum amount of disinterest they have, he just goes, not right now, and turns around and walks away. And this is a man who just a day ago was peeping through pepperoni holes to look at naked women, and now they're all around him, and he couldn't care less.
So that is where I thought this could have been a much better movie.
Yes.
Not in the way, I think I might be going in the opposite direction though. So he talked to the voodoo lady, and he asks to be a world-class rock star / guitarist. And he wakes up a world-class guitarist with rock star accoutrement. But he's still ultimately Martin.
Yes.
So the idea that he's awkward around the women and that he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing in these situations that an actual full-blown rock star would know what to do makes sense to me. Like, there's a really good movie there where, like, you asked for one particular tool that got you to this whole other level of existence, but you didn't live your way through to the rest of what that means. So you're still you with just one added ability, which is the guitar playing. So him not knowing that when these girls say, I'll help you with anything you want, you go, oh, I think I know what anything means. Well, instead, you're going, well, I mean, the shelves could use some dusting.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's just I feel like when Marilyn stands up, if that's the case, then he should kind of like avert his eyes
or cover his midsection,
just
like put his hands over his crotch.
Start stuttering or just, his face turns red. He should be embarrassed and awkward, but instead it's just like, I guess I'll get around to joining you in the hot tub. Like, he just doesn't care. There's this lack of enthusiasm, because the other version of Martin would probably still be like, this is the greatest day of my life. I just don't know how to act on it.
Right.
He's really just soulless, I guess is the way to go about it.
He would have ruined it all the same if regular old Martin had found his way into that situation.
Yes.
But like I said, I think for the end of the show here, I think there's a better movie there if he's just blessed with the one talent.
Right.
But not the knowledge and the power that comes with it, right? Like, if you're the greatest guitarist in the world, for the most part, unless you're some kind of weird prodigy, you were a good guitarist at 15, a really good guitarist at 20, and then a great guitarist at 30. So in that window of time, like, I realize these are stereotypes, but you were playing at the local bar and a couple girls were hitting on you while you were there, and then you were playing the medium-sized venues in the area, and you had groupie. Like, you grew into being the most famous guitarist in the world. You didn't just wake up with it and like have all these people throwing themselves at you. And the girls wound up really annoying me too, not because they weren't beautiful or fun or anything like that, but they were there of their own volition, which really seemed like a weird twist in the movie to me. Like, when he wakes up and these girls are there, I'm like, okay, so the voodoo lady has gifted him these women for whatever reason. No, they had also been stabbed and had like, they were kind of just like there to be there, and that seemed weird to me.
Yes, and I didn't know what in their deal would then require them to have to hang out with Martin.
Right.
Unless every time someone goes through this process, they all live in the same house. Like, that's the only explanation.
That's the voodoo landing pad.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you sell your soul, you go live in this house so we can keep tabs on you. But it didn't make any sense for them to be there.
It did not make sense for them to willingly be there. And then they follow that up with, like, it didn't make sense for Martin to be surprised that they were not normal, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's only in this house because he made a voodoo wish. So the first time he catches on to the fact that these women are only in this house because they made a voodoo wish, maybe the very first moment is like, oh, this is weird. But then after that, it's like, oh yeah, I did something very similar. I get it. Like, instead, it seemed like it really bothered him quite a bit that they had made their own voodoo arrangements and were around him under that guise.
Right.
there was a lot of character development that felt like whoever was spending this 3 weeks in their routine writing this, they were in two different rooms, and then when they brought their stuff together, they just kind of shuffled it together, and then whatever page came up next, that's who Martin was that day.
And I feel like a few pages fell out
Maybe fell out or
when
got
they
wet
put it
or
all.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or were
Yeah,
never
because
written.
I feel like if I am Martin and I make this deal and I wake up and I'm living with three women now, I might not ask them directly in fear of sounding insane, but I would definitely like start trying to extract some information as to how do I know you and why are you here?
Absolutely. The,
Yeah.
the, 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 the voodoo lady approaches me. I don't believe in voodoo. I make my wish with her. I still don't believe in voodoo. I wake up the next day in a pretty close to what she described scenario.
Yeah.
Now I have to assume that voodoo is everywhere. Right? Like that's a flip of a switch right there. I go to bed and I can't play a G chord, and I wake up and I can play the opening of Sweet Child of Mine blind. I'm now obligated to believe that everyone has had the opportunity to voodoo change themselves into something else. So these strange women, my first thought is going to be voodoo. Like it's got to be. It's got to be. I'm 17, 18 years old. I've never even held hands with a woman, and now three pretty much naked women are throwing themselves at me after I had this voodoo exchange. I'm at least going to ask them, "Hey, did the voodoo lady send you here? Like, are you here of your own free will, or how did you decide to be in this house with me since we don't even know each other's first names?"
Yeah. No, because there's only a couple scenarios. One, it's going to be they made the similar deal,
Right.
and they're getting grouped together for whatever reason. Two, they're demons themselves.
Sure.
That's possible. Or three, they're not aware that this is the life they're now leading. For whatever reason,
Okay.
they're now being controlled by an evil entity to make Martin happy, and Martin's not aware. So that would be the one that would concern me the most. I'm like, are these people here because they want to be here?
Yeah.
Or are they demons? And then hopefully the answer is they made a similar deal and they're cool with everything.
Are you here because you want to be, and are you some sort of like watchdog? Like
Right.
what is your purpose for being here, and are you okay with it, or are we working on some sort of sex trafficking thing that
Yeah.
I should really be made aware of?
Because if so, I'm going to go back to my trailer.
Yeah, I'm good with the pizza making if that's our other option here. I'll figure out guitar later. Maybe I was meant to be a pianist. Also, the one thing that exposes these women to their reality is reflective surfaces. I have to assume that these women were in the house at least a little while before Martin ever showed up, or at least before he woke up.
Yes.
And this house is littered with reflective surfaces, mirrors, sterling pans, like everything in this house is reflective. They are jeopardizing their existence by just being in this house. And not a single one of these three yin yangs thought to themselves, let's get rid of the reflective surfaces because we don't want to look at ourselves.
And it could so easily be done. Somebody has a compact that they open up to put makeup on that's a guest in the house. Anything like that where you have to either they're out of the house and there's a mirror there, but these morons have a mirror set up by the hot tub. Why do you need a small mirror by the hot tub? Yeah, if I am the two that are afflicted with that, the first thing I'm doing is taking all of the mirrors out of the house. Every single one. There's no need. If I went into a home and I didn't see a mirror, I wouldn't think anything. Maybe the bathroom, maybe the bathroom cabinet, but you're going to be the only one in there. So it's the chances of someone else seeing it with you are non-existent unless you invite them in for some reason.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. So
yeah,
and the lore, the voodoo lore continues to devolve throughout this movie in really weird ways. we learn that Martin's not allowed to eat food because if he eats food, it will give him the odds so bad that he'll throw up and die. Which is a really, really weird position. What is the curse, and how do you? What is your sustenance once you can't eat anymore? Like I know he's got to collect souls and all that, and that's how.
Yeah.
Right, fine. But does that like satiate your muscles? Like this is a weird trade-off.
Yeah.
But also, back to your now overbearing point that's ruining the whole movie for me again. Hair metal bands were notoriously skinny. No, like disease sort of skinny. Like they were, what's the hell was the word I'm looking for? I can't find it in my head. But they were like, you know, eat and throw up level skinny.
Yeah,
all of them to a T. So maybe they're making fun of that with this. Like now, once you become a hair metal guy, you can't eat anymore because otherwise you'll lose your appeal. So now I have to reassess this whole movie because of you, which I don't appreciate. But but I guess we're doing it on the fly.
Yeah.
So Martin gets the job. Martin tricks the lead singer into locking himself out of a concert so that he can run the concert and show off. And now the band is going to get a record deal. Like everything is just going aces for Martin. So obviously the next thing that you need to do is ruin it all by chasing Traci Lords.
Yeah. Oh, there is one other thing that leads me to believe that they don't appreciate this type of music.
So many other things.
When they introduce the band members' names,
right.
You get Johnny Crack. Okay. Dustin Clean is very similar to Dean Clean of the Dead Milkmen, and they both play drums. And then we have Izzy Long. I think he was the keyboardist, which is a little play on words, which reminded me of Roddy Bottum from Faith No More. So, you know, like we have two different, you know, from the Dead Milkmen to Faith No More, clearly different types of music.
Yeah.
But they're not hair metal. You know, so, and then we just have the very, very boring Greg Austin. Like, so I think, I don't know how you arrive at Dustin Clean if you're not aware of Dean Clean.
I mean, there's another pun in there, but yeah, you have to, you've started somewhere. You're into music enough to think that you can make this parody. You don't wake up and decide to make a parody over something you have no, you know, fruitful information about.
Yeah.
The other thing he does is he does puke on one of his audience members, which was pretty awesome because I've told you before, you can do a lot of disgusting stuff in a movie and it won't really faze me, but throwing up is very hot. Throwing up is actually number 2 on the list. And the only thing that's above that, I'm not even going to discuss because you'll purposely find a movie that's got it in there. So we won't worry about that.
Now I have to. What if I promise to not knowingly find the movie?
I don't think you ever could. So surprisingly, there was a TV show on MTV back in the day when I was a kid, and it was just I don't remember what it was. I'm sure that the host was famous, but he was just going up and down the street offering people money to do dumb shit, and usually it was gross and dumb too. And I just watched the show, you know, 2:00 in the morning, whenever it came on. It's like, okay, whatever. You want to do that, do that. You want to eat, you know, drink from a plunger and you don't know if it's been used or not, so be it, whatever. One person, and I apologize if this creeps up on me again, but one person made $50 by having some of their hair cut off and then rolled in butter, and then they ate the hair and butter together. And that was so disturbing to me. And I really almost puked while watching that, and really considered just shutting it off at that point. Like I could not handle that. And then one other person was offered, but they didn't do it. They were going to eat nail clippings. And I was just like, I can't, they better not say yes to that.
Yeah. I can hopefully safely say there are no movies out there where they put hair clippings on butter and digest it.
In butter, like not on, in, like it was a mash. It was like garlic butter, but hair garlic. It was.
I mean, I once paid, well, me and a friend, so $10 each, someone $20 just to eat a stick of butter as fast as they could, and they did it, but it was hair free.
Yeah, see that's a big difference.
Yeah,
that's an incredibly big difference when once you remove the hair from your butter, it just becomes butter at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm okay eating butter. It wasn't the butter part that was throwing me off, Russ.
But still, it's like when you just think of a whole, like, I can't.
It was like
I only
this
like
crystal bowl, and he had to come in with a spoon.
Yeah.
Like this is on a weekend, which means there's a good chance that like I had just come off of watching Hostel for the third time, right? Yeah. Like I was watching people get decapitated and their legs sliced open, and I'm like, oh, eating butter and hair? I don't think so. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Anywho, puking on the audience member, and while the audience member who got hit seemed bothered, no one got upset. They were just kind of like, yeah, this is how rock shows go, you know?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
It's like we're at a Gallagher show, but more bitter.
Yeah, it's like I saw Marilyn Manson one time, and he came out in saran wrap underwear and then threw that into the crowd. And I'm just like, I am so glad I'm not on the floor tonight. You know, like, so there are certain things that come from the stage that I want nothing to do with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when Angel asks for Lindsay to be a part of his voodoo arrangement, he's got to baptize her with her blood.
Yes.
Which is a huge leap from everything else. A. And B, I don't know, maybe I saw it differently than you, but the way this movie's playing out, he pretty much has Lindsay. Like she has pretty much fallen for him all the way through. I don't think he needed to take this extra greedy step.
No.
I think he was good where he was.
That was the first part of the plan, was to basically impress her with his talents.
Right.
You know, so everything else afterwards, I guess, locks it in place so she can't change her mind, I guess. But like you said, I feel like if he had just stayed the course, she would have been his, and inexplicably so. There's zero chemistry. They barely talk. No. And she's ready to dump her fiance,
right,
just because this guy can play guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is essentially, this is our movie, and we can just move forward into people dying. Like that's just the pace of this movie. And we get our first bag is Tony, and Tony gets killed at the pizza place, right? And
yes, yeah, when he locks up for the night.
Yeah, and he gets stabbed, and he dies, and like it's so uneventful.
Like Monique is there to help him,
right?
For some reason, you know, and it's not announced. That's like a surprise to us.
Yeah,
they could have just shown, you know, going out together. Yeah, and as far as the death too, it's very simple. There's barely any blood, if any at all. There's nothing gory about it. It's just, you know, he's stabbed and dead.
Right.
And they absorb his soul.
And that's that. He didn't seem like the kind of guy who would have a soul, but, you know.
No.
The green energy tells us differently.
Yeah. And I think there are different levels. I think Monique at one point, which is kind of like one of the victims, like, this guy's boring. Like, so there is different levels of energy that I think you can get from that transaction. So I imagine if you're feeding off Tony, you're barely getting a meal.
And then we also learn at that point that, like, even though he can't eat food, these are equating to food because, like, you can have gone too long between souls and it weakened you and you're not as powerful anymore. And that's why Monique has to help him kill Tony in the first place, is that he's got to eat more frequently.
And we never get any clear definition on what his eating process needs to be.
Nope.
Sometimes I felt like at one point he just ate and needed to eat again. I feel like after he plays, he runs low on energy.
Which
But
makes sense.
yeah, but there's no, okay, I haven't eaten anyone in 3 days. If I don't eat someone today, I'm gonna have some problems. It's just kind of random as to when he decides he needs to go get someone.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's just put it on the list of the things that they don't really explain the lore of
Yeah.
in the movie, and the power of. So next up, we get a girl at the rock show along with Johnny. Um, Angel is has taken over, uh, bullied his way into being the star of the band, but he was always going to be the star of the band. If he had just hung out with his supreme talent, the rest of the band members or the label or whoever it would have been would have ultimately boosted him up and over the lead singer.
Because the rest of the band moves on very quickly.
Oh, so quickly.
It's like, oh, well, Johnny's gone.
During the show.
Yeah.
You know Johnny's words? All right, go right ahead. We're fine.
Yeah. Never mind that you just tripped him and kicked him off stage.
Right.
We're cool with you now.
So Johnny gets kicked out of the show, literally, and can't get back in because he left his wallet on stage, which some of the choices that they make in this movie are just wild to me. This band is being recruited by major A&Rs. They're playing a show at what's supposed to be a pretty decent sized venue, and the security guards don't know what they look like.
Yeah, and you always get a hand stamp or a wristband or a lanyard. So you always have something to show you belong there or you've paid to get in. So, and prior to the show, Johnny does some drugs, which was so confusing to me because it doesn't impact the story at all until the very end, well after Johnny is dead.
Yeah.
So, because at first I was like, why did we just get that scene? It impacts this movie in no way. And I was like, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, yep, that's fine.
And even
I mean, not that it's fine. It wasn't
useful. Yeah.
But yeah.
So the show ends. Angel is getting a big pop from the crowd, and he goes to leave. He sees one of the girls from the show and asks her to take off. They start making out in a car, and Johnny sees them making out in a car and is going to go and I guess beat him with a didgeridoo that he found on the side of the road.
Yeah, no, he was going over to mess him up.
So as he's getting close enough to do it, he sees that Angel has stabbed the girl and is, taking her soul, which is what he does now. That's who he is. So Johnny opens the car to, I guess, try to save the girl, with very noble. And Angel's eyes are glowing green. So she's dead, obviously. Again, no blood. Not much in the way of gore, just the green eyes and the knife sticking sort of out of the chest.
And again, you get the exact opposite nudity of the nudity that you would expect in this movie, where it's not nudity as they're making out, it's nudity after she's been stabbed and dead.
Post-mortem breasts are softer, yes. So Johnny sees all this, and then Johnny decides to run away, but Angel catches up with him and stabs him and takes his soul. Now,
no, all that's off camera, and we don't even get to see it.
Yeah.
So very little gore as we continue.
Now, to your point about sort of the fuel tank and when you do and don't have to eat, I don't think he was planning to kill Johnny. I think Johnny just was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes.
I think he was absolutely planning to kill the girl, though.
Yes, and he just had to kill Johnny to protect himself.
Right.
Plus, it's a 2-for-1. He can't be ratted out, and now he's definitely the lead singer of the band.
Right.
And furthermore, why I don't think they like this type of music, we hear a squeal, not a terrified scream, a squeal from Johnny when we can assume he's been killed.
Oh, I don't know if Johnny is purposely playing it soft for this movie, but we already discussed how incredibly soft he is in this movie, and that squeal seemed almost too manly for him.
Yeah, so even, even when I was younger, I knew the metal, not I want to say the hair metal bands that I enjoyed were Axe.
Yeah.
I at no point in time thought that, everyday life was, they get dressed up like this from head to toe. Uh, but he stayed true to character even in death. So it's kind of like, no, that's who this person is.
Right. So now I guess Angel is on some sort of revenge campaign because he goes back to the trailer that he got kicked out of. Now, the thing is, he didn't get kicked out for like malfeasance. Like he just got kicked out because he wasn't making the rent. And now,
they didn't like his loud guitar playing.
Well, they didn't like his. Well,
yeah,
you heard
but
his guitar playing, so
yeah.
no one liked his loud guitar playing previously. But now he's got a fortune. He could just go pay off the rent, but instead he's going to go kill the landlord who's watching porn in his trailer while also pooping. It's a thing. It's got a whole name. We don't need to get into it, but
I'm not making the argument that the pants need to come all the way down. But why do so many people shit with their boxers basically half on the toilet in movies?
Now, I told you the story before. Since that particular fishing incident, I actually try to remove everything as much as possible.
Yeah.
I'm glad when I'm in a stall that's got a hook behind the door.
Yeah, me as well. But it's weird.
I assume it's a filming thing, like an R-rated versus X-rated thing. I don't know what happens when you get your pants all the way to your ankles, if it means something different, but it's
you can just have,
because you see it all the time.
Yeah, you can just have two pairs of boxers, one that you're wearing that we can't see,
right,
and the other down around your ankles,
like a nice flesh-toned underwear.
Yeah. To achieve a rated R, thy boxers must not
no more than 3 inches from the knee. Yeah. And
hearts are preferred.
Cannot be briefs, must be boxers. Cannot be a stretchy material. No stretchy materials. Okay. So the way that Angel's going to kill him, which by the way, no reason, dunks him in the toilet. Which also, we're never given this one way or the other, but he drowns him to kill him, so he can't take his soul, right? Because he's dead. Like, your soul leaves you when you die.
Yeah.
So that was purely a wasted kill, considering what his lifestyle is now.
Maybe he wasn't going with the intention of killing someone, so he didn't have his knife.
So why was he going?
Or no, he did have a knife, because he raises it, I think, at one point. Yeah, and he does. I'm almost positive he has the knife with him. So it's weird. And even then, if you are going to take his soul, do you want to lay down on his body after you've just put his head into a toilet full of shit?
No.
Because that's what he did. And this didn't make sense. This is how Tony should have died. Because Tony tells him to go clean the toilets. It's clogged with a straw.
Yeah.
And he makes mention of that to Tony before he kills him. He's like, has a straw. So why does the landlord get the toilet death? Tony should have had the toilet death.
Tony's very fixated on toilets. Or Martin is very fixated on toilets.
Yeah.
Look, it makes no sense. If that's what you want me to say, I'm happy to say it again. It makes no sense. I suspect that if we go through enough hair metal band biographies, we'll find some kind of awful toilet stories that somehow lightly relate to what we're seeing here. So now we get the cops involved. Finally, we're like 4 bags in, 5 bags in, and the cops are now involved. We get Inspector Corbett from the LAPD looking for Angel, and the girls are there to sort of keep his attention so they can hide hide a knife. They have the bloody knife.
A bloody, yeah.
Yeah, a bloody.
If they just keep out.
Yeah, you know how like you leave that on the coffee table and talk about the evening instead of
Yeah.
cleaning it up. But they're not able to hide this knife, which we already knew because if they were able to hide a knife, they would have. And so we kill Inspector Corbett, take his gun, shoot him in the back, stab him in the back, and all of them get a little piece of his energy.
Yeah. Well, no, only I think just Monique needs it. Michelle doesn't need to kill.
Okay.
Michelle and Marilyn don't need to kill people. They're the ones that see themselves as they truly are. But Monique and because the other two can even eat food. Monique and Martin are the ones that can't eat because their soul's been taken. Yeah, and watching this scene just made me question how long these girls have been together, because I felt like they've known each other for a while. And to conduct yourselves this way is just amateur hour. So, like, Monique should be proficient at killing. Marilyn and Michelle should be proficient at helping Monique kill, so they also aren't involved in any suspicion. So, for anyone to see that knife sitting out, whether it's their knife or not, they should be taking care of it. And nobody should be killing an officer that comes to your house where the entire police department knows the location that the officer last was.
Yeah, that was an on-call thing. That wasn't just on my way home from my shift. I'm
gonna
make a couple stops.
His car's sitting out front. You know, somebody needs to move it.
And to your point, I haven't killed anyone recently, but I assure you that if the weapon of choice is a bloody knife, the knife's not making it back to the house. Even if it's like an important to my ritual kind of knife, it's getting hidden somewhere well outside the boundaries of the house, because that's just literally the only smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Like literally the only smart thing to do is not bring that knife into my house where I live.
You make a false door in your guitar case or something like that if you feel like you need to have it in the house with you. But other than that,
throw it in the gutter.
Don't leave it out.
Don't leave it out. Put it at the bottom of the hot tub. Do something other than have it on the coffee table so that you can reminisce over the good times.
Or at the very least, I mean, it's an ornate knife, so
it is.
You could hang it on the wall as decoration, but clean it.
Cleaning it would be good. Cleaning it would be really good. There's so many options here. They could have a little, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle display, and one of the size can just be that knife. Like, there's 100 million ways to go with this, and they chose none of those ways at all.
None of those ways.
No, none.
It's like they couldn't think of a reason to kill one more person, and went, well, what if the police are investigating? Cool. Okay. Well, why would they kill him? Well, what if a knife is out? Why would a knife be out?
Well,
what if a knife is out?
Yeah.
So,
listen, I'm the one asking questions here, not you. All right. So, what if the knife is out? Think about it. Okay. I guess.
Yeah, sure. We've only got 3 weeks to write this, and
wait, there's a knife? I had him getting shot. I don't remember. I don't remember a knife. We're really vibing now. There's this. And I don't know if it's because I kept rewinding to watch different things, but I swear this gets mentioned like 40 different times, but they don't want to eat out. Monique tells Angel she doesn't feel like eating out, but this not eating out seems like it comes up more frequently in this movie than it should. And I realize there's, some innuendo in there and whatnot, but it was weird how frequently they decided they didn't want to eat out, or they were upset that they couldn't eat out. It was odd.
Yes. And it's even odder because it's the opposite of what you think might be the intentions here. While the girl who comes back to the house definitely has her eyes on Angel, it almost feels like that is why Monique is bringing her to the house. So,
it is.
Yeah,
it absolutely is. It might that if you strip away all of the innuendo, she says, "We didn't feel like eating out, so we brought you home some food." Like that. That's literally what
yeah,
that exchange is, minus the ridiculousness.
yeah. And Angel, when she takes her top off, could be less interested.
Nope.
And he's reading a magazine. I think it was called like Light Cooking, or something like that. So I don't know why he was pretending to be busy, because there's nothing in that magazine that could be of any interest to him.
How to cook for humans.
Yeah. How to spice up the souls you absorb, and
green can be delicious too.
yeah.
The groupie goes over to the hot tub, and like you said, she says, "Thanks for having me," and he just kind of moves on. Angel gives Monique the knife, and the girl gets away, but they catch her. And once they catch her, they're in the kitchen. They grab another knife and they stab her, and then Monique lays on top of her to absorb her energy, because if we remember, in a past life, Monique was a sponge. So this makes perfect sense at this point. But unfortunately, Greg was watching through the window, and Greg was also the one who had told Dustin to call the police because he had seen some weird stuff. Doorbell rings. It's Greg and Dustin and the police. So now the police are here for the second time at this address. They haven't heard from the guy who was there the first time because he's dead. And Greg and Dustin are there. And they go inside, and the girls are cleaning up the mess while they're sort of chit-chatting with everyone. I don't know how you hide a body in a dishwasher, because it is not a very durable piece of equipment. It is usually just like sort of an aluminum box that fires water out. So it's super easy to even tip one over if it's not installed quite right, let alone stuff a body in there and shut the door and have it stay shut. But again, there's not a lot of thought in this movie.
And especially it's not like she sucked out the bones.
Nope.
She sucked out the soul and the energy.
Yep. 21,
so
21
there's
ounces,
still,
I believe.
Yeah, you'd have to fold this body over like 2 times.
Mm-hmm. It's an origami project.
Yeah, to get it to go in there. And it's just so, going back to what we were just discussing a moment ago, when they killed the detective or the police officer. Why are you inviting victims to your house? People will know the last place they went. And the more times that someone knows the last place this dead or missing person went was this house, you're gonna have to face the penalties here.
So what starts to happen here is Angel is clearly falling deeply in love with Lindsay, and Michelle is not a fan of this because
right.
Obviously the other voodoo lady thought that she could have Angel all to herself, and that is not the way this is going to play out for her. Angel says he wants to add Lindsay to the family, which is a creepy fucking statement even for this guy.
Yeah.
Michelle tries to talk him out of it, but we can see that this is Angel's plan, and that's that. And we think we're given enough context clues here that we think that Michelle has left to kill Lindsay. Like we're pretty sure that she's not just going there to give her a good talking to. We're pretty sure that she's planning to kill her.
This isn't a stay away from my man. This is you're never going to see him again.
Right. You won't have to make that decision on your own. So Angel panics and runs out. Not quite in time. We see Michelle at Lindsay's house with the knife out. They're fighting for a little bit, little chick fighting, and then Angel comes in, but Michelle stabs Angel in the back. Now, he doesn't have a soul, so I guess in theory this knife does no damage to him. Is that how that would work?
They did say at some point, like when Greg goes to see the voodoo lady, it's learned that he's basically indestructible unless he eats.
Unless the food.
So there's nothing you can do to him that will hurt him or kill him unless he swallows food. Which is a weird...
Wildly insane.
Yeah, it's a weird kryptonite to have.
Cheeseburgers. My kryptonite is cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Which it turns out is most people's kryptonite, depending on the quantity. But Angel gets pissed off that he gets stabbed, so he kills Michelle, and we can see her sort of fade back into being the burn victim that she was before she met the voodoo lady.
And I feel like that was the most special effects we got all movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So Angel calls back home, and we still got Monique and Marilyn left. Why were they all M's? Was there a significance to that? Whether they were all Michelle, Monique, and Marilyn? Like,
and Martin.
And Martin? Right. Like, why
yeah.
4 M's? We have to look into that, too. It's another thing that must be some proof that you hate hair metal. So he asked them, bring the dagger and the snake and meet me at the concert hall, and we're going to make Lindsay perform the ritual that will make her his. Which, again, in the scope of this movie, is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Because Angel didn't perform any ceremony for him to become Angel. The girls didn't really seem to perform any ceremonies for them to become who they were. They just sort of agreed to it. They're like, okay, if you take away my burns, I will agree to give you my soul and whatever. But all of a sudden, now we have to get an unwilling partner to participate in order for the voodoo to work. We've completely swapped out how the voodoo works this entire movie.
Because, too, if this is the case, I would imagine they'd want to amass an army. So anyone that they recruit through the voodoo lady, they should be telling them, okay, well, now you have to go and get other people to sell Herbalife. You know, it's
right. You would at least want it to be like Lost Boys, and you would want to make it a very appealing choice. You wouldn't want to like, okay, what we're going to need to do is tie her up and put a snake on her lap and force her to make a choice. You would want it to be like, oh, we're going to show her a stack of money and a future life that she could have if she chooses to run with us. And that's not what happens here at all.
No.
And again, everyone else so far that we know of was given this option, like, hey, what's your ideal scenario? Oh, here's my ideal scenario. Okay, here it is. No one asks Lindsay. Like, Lindsay might not even like him well enough. Like, hey, if you just let this snake bite your leg, you'll be mine forever. I don't know. Forever's a long time. But here we have the plan, and we're going to go execute the plan. In the meantime, finally, we have Greg trying to fight this voodoo evil. And he goes to the Army-Navy store and buys rations, which I don't think it's the worst choice in the world, but there had to be a better choice.
Yeah. Just like the tube of food paste is clearly just a sticker put on it with, you know, it's written on top of it.
That looks like Crest beans and rice.
Yeah.
So this is weird too. He goes and he finds the voodoo lady, and he's like, how do we undo this? Why would the voodoo lady explain to them how to undo this?
Well, I think it was, you know, in exchange for his soul, which he then didn't agree to. But to your point, I feel like there's no need for her to tell him up front. That's the carrot she needs to dangle. You're like, sell your soul. I'll give you the power to kill him. You know, like that should be what the deal is, not her going, well, here's everything you asked for. Oh, do you still want to do the deal? You know, like.
Right. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and we found out that the voodoo lady can very easily be hoodwinked. Like, Martin could have just asked for the guitar skills and then moved back on.
Yeah.
Not giving up.
On second thought, no.
It's as good as I thought it would be. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. My soul seems to be a lot to pay. Can we renegotiate? How about a leg? So Greg gets his plan. He's going to get food, and he's going to stuff it down everyone's throats. And Monique and Marilyn are continuing to clean up everything, but of course, if there's one thing that's important if you're going to go put bodies in a storage unit, it would be the keys to the storage unit, which they do not bring with them.
Yeah.
So Marilyn's going to wait with the pile of bodies while Monique heads home and grabs the keys.
And even like, why? This is California. This isn't Alaska. The bodies are going to start to smell. Like, you think they'd be a well-oiled machine right now on how to dispose of the bodies, but it's like these are the first bodies that they've ever tried to dispose of.
Again, back to the knife thing. Even if they are not a well-oiled machine, hey, you wait here by the dead bodies. I'm going to run home and get the keys. No, absolutely not. We're going to go ahead and put the bodies back in the trunk. We'll drive home together, get the keys, and we'll come back and start this mission over again. But I'm not going to stand here in the middle of nowhere with no transport, no weapon, and no protection, and just bodies. Like, this is terrible, terrible.
And idea. In front of your storage unit. Right. You at least have to move the bodies to someone else's storage unit.
I'm sorry.
So if you do get caught,
6, obviously,
it's going to look like that's the culprit.
Guys would have gotten away with it, but we have you standing out front of your building. Oh, God, that's true. That is us.
Yeah. And then they have to keep up rent because if you don't, it's going to get auctioned off.
Yeah, and
then someone's going to buy a.
Maybe it was different in 1990, but you can't pay cash. You got to put it on a card somehow. And then the guys from Storage Wars are going to buy it. Yeah. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
That's the sequel. Is the Storage Wars guys free the dead bodies?
Yeah. Trying to figure out which ones are valuable and which ones aren't.
Greg bid $952. He's got $318 left for the day. Let's see how Greg made out.
Well, I was able to get 5. Yeah.
I found a Lombardi trophy and 6 dead bodies.
Lombardi trophy, you say?
I can't tell if it's a replica or not, but I got a guy who specializes in Lombardi trophies. We're going to give him a call.
Never mind. He's one of the dead bodies.
Stupid idiots. So when Monique gets back home to get the keys, Greg is there. And he sort of lures Monique over by breaking something so that she'll hear it. And then as she gets closer, he jams some food down her throat and she gets cancer and dies.
Makes sense.
So there was that. Yeah. So there was
probably red number 5 might have been in the food.
Well, that's true. Depending. Yeah.
The
yellow
slow play
number 5. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Red number 2. Yeah. Red. Yeah. Yellow 5 and yeah.
But Marilyn shows up. I guess she did wind up going home with Monique and the dead bodies and knocks Greg out and then goes to tell Angel what's happening. Which brings us to Angel and Marilyn. Lindsay's passed out. We're all at the concert hall together. Angel's setting up this child pool snake tin can salt ritual that everyone obviously has seen before in some sort of movie. And he's got Lindsay tied to a folding chair and he's playing guitar. And they're not the opening act.
No.
They're not the opening act. So there is another band there. There is a much larger crowd than usual there. Like, this is not a great place to do a ritual, let alone one where at some point it's going to involve forcing the person to participate in it. So here we are. Greg comes out to rescue Lindsay. Marilyn and him fight for a little bit. and she has an axe. But he kind of catches it a little bit and gets out of the way. Greg gets Lindsay freed, but Angel and Marilyn are still on the hunt. Angel knocks over some amps that look like they crush her, but actually it's the axe that she has that gets driven into her. And that right there, since the amps were plugged in, that might be as close as we get to shocking them dead. Right there.
Yeah.
With the plugged in amps.
I mean, death by stereo.
Yeah. And an axe. Don't forget the axe.
Yeah.
The axe is important here. So there's a struggle, and then we see that drug bag, the stash, the drug bag of paraphernalia that Greg had Johnny had stashed earlier, and Greg fills that up with food, and then injects the food into Angel, and Angel explodes, and everyone cheers. And then we see Dave Mustaine sitting on a bus bench, and the voodoo lady sits down next to him, and scene. Which I liked. Like I said, like you could make a case for this voodoo lady sort of perpetuate. This could almost wind up being like a Amazing Stories or Tales from the Dark Side, where you could have a weekly where this voodoo lady gives you your wildest dream, but then you have to deal with the consequences of that wish. But instead they made this shit awful movie and discouraged any possibility of that happening whatsoever. There are a lot of terrible quotes in this movie. We don't need to specialize on any one or two of them, but if you'd like to, this is your opportunity. I had a few written down myself.
It was so out of place. I haven't seen this much tuna since the fishing trip I went on last summer. Okay. And you seem to be around this scene a lot. Why would you not see this many girls in one place? And it wasn't even like it was an overabundance of females.
It was like 8 of them.
It's like this guy, I think, has this line locked and loaded for every new person he sees as soon as he sees another girl. He's
testing their sense of humor.
Yeah, like I think when people see him coming, they're like, "Oh shit, here comes Tuna." It's
the fishing trip guy. Just listen.
Yeah.
When he says it, just kind of like nod your head and smirk. Otherwise, he says it like twice to make sure you heard him the first time.
And I did like there were two different record execs. They both come up to Angel and they go, "That was the most outstanding performance I have ever seen," and I mean that sincerely. And then the other one walks up after not hearing that and repeats it verbatim. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're kind of poking fun at the record industry, but this time it's on the opposite side and not poking fun at the band. Oh, but there is another thing that they do say. In one of the songs, it ends and it just goes, "I'm in love with a slut," which it's almost, I feel like they're making fun of Warrant in a way, just because of how Warrant's music kind of was, where it's just kind of like, yeah, that's you guys are just obsessing over sluts, which okay, whatever, but like why put that in there if you're not poking fun at the genre?
It was the counter to the Virgin Girl song. Like it was you had to offset the Virgin Girl song, which was also god awful.
I in all the music other than Beck's Nightmare Hippie Girl that I can think of, the word snooty is not in it. It makes sense in the Beck song. It would not make sense in a hair metal, whatever, heavy metal, whatever rock and roll variation that you want to talk about. If the band is singing about snooty, I'm checking out.
What if Snooty is their friend? Like it's just like a nickname that they have for their cocaine doing friend.
Here comes Snooty, and shit, Tuna's behind him.
Hide your bags. I'm not seeing a lot of songs that feature the word snooty in the lyrics, to be honest.
Yeah.
The most that keeps coming up is that There's not a lot of lyrics that have it, but there's a lot of Steely Dan is a very snooty band.
Snooty Dan.
Snooty Dan. Classic Snooty. Snooty and the Blowfish. So I guess Martin is the killer here. So how do we survive Martin?
Yeah, if you are, if you, yeah, I viewed it sort of as the voodoo lady was the cause of the chaos.
She just feels like an enabler, though.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know how you survive Martin. Just be aware of your surroundings and look in the mirror. Like I don't think there's much you can do, because I think the last thing you're expecting is that the lead singer or of the metal band is going to kill you.
I have 2 words for you, Russ.
Yeah.
Bacon tuxedo.
Bacon. I'm familiar with both of those words, but not side by side.
Every time I'm around Martin, I'm wearing a bacon tuxedo. So if he tries anything untoward, I'm making him eat the bacon, and he's dead.
Yeah,
it's going to be the equivalent for me of wearing garlic around the vampires.
Yeah, or you know what else would be good is a marshmallow gun.
Marshmallow gun's not bad either.
Yeah,
you just got to wait for them to open wide enough.
Yeah.
So what's in between those two things? We need the gun that can shoot the rations. Oh, we need like string cheese. That's what we need. We need like a weaponized string cheese. Yep. There we go.
String cheese or a Ready Whip.
Ready Whip.
Just yeah.
A little airier, a few less calories. That's nice.
Maybe I'm arming myself with some of those ketchup and mustard bottles like Louise, and going from there.
We didn't say he couldn't have condiments. We said he couldn't have food, Russ. This is different.
Well, condiments are made from food.
Condiments are made
food
from
elements. Well, I mean, ketchup is tomatoes. Tomatoes a plant, I guess.
That's right. Ketchup is healthy. He's not dying from healthy foods.
Ketchup is not healthy, or would not have this body.
Just said it was made from tomatoes, Russ. Do the math. It's liquid salad. So if you're Martin, how do you do this differently?
One thing I couldn't understand, and that's also, I mean, it's mainly the movie's fault for not telling us. They seem to just all of a sudden need to go out and kill someone. So if I am in Martin's situation or Monique's, I'm keeping a buffet of alive people that are restrained and gagged in the basement or wherever. So when I need to get energy, I don't have to go hunting. So yes, you can bring them back to your house, but they would be unaware that they're going there in the first place, or you don't know them at all. So that is how I think the killers should operate, and just have someone ready to be able to absorb their energy when you need to, instead of being forced to go out and find somebody last minute. And really just the smallest bit of planning. Just the smallest bit of planning and being aware of your surroundings. If I'm Martin, even if the girls don't do it, girls, take down all the mirrors. When I have people over, they're going to see you. So get rid of them. Just to make things more safe for yourself.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So in your eyes, is this the movie that they meant to make?
I don't think so. Because it feels like when they try to do something, it falls short. But then when I think about it and say, I think they're just making fun of this music, and that's the whole thing here. Yes. So my answer is going to be contingent upon whether they were actually making fun of this music or not. If they weren't, they did not make the movie they set out to do. If they were, Unfortunately, I think they accomplished what they tried to do.
Did you say unfortunately?
Yeah.
I don't know that they did make the movie they set out to make here. Watching this movie really felt like they had 3 or 4 ideas that they had spitballed, but never came to any sort of closure on any of it.
Yeah.
I would watch the movie again, though. Now, with a critical eye towards this all being just a giant send up of hair metal. Potentially, there's a slightly better movie under there. It's not going to move the needle at all, but I going into it imagining that what they're trying to do on one hand is just spoof hair metal altogether. Perhaps there's a few, like I said, slightly more enjoyable scenes in there. But if we were going to make the movie all out enjoyable, what would you do?
There's a Beck song that I would probably put in. If you ask me to name my top favorite 10 songs of all time, this one is in there somewhere. It's called Satan Gave Me a Taco. It is actually the only Beck song that I understand what he means when he's saying it, other than just a line here or there. But I never understand why one line connects to the next. But this one is clear. It's about a guy who basically wants to be a rock star, gets everything he wants, and he's still not happy because when the song starts out, he starts about talking about how Satan gave him this taco, and the taco was terrible. It was disgusting. There were all kinds of things wrong with it, but he was still eating it. And even after he has all this success and fame, he misses what he used to have before that. So, drawing a parallel to Martin, I would have liked to seen Martin get everything that he wanted, but then just realize he missed what he already had. And to do that, we don't make him this fool. We don't make him this nerd. We don't make him a creep that looks through holes in the wall. We just make him this guy who really wants to impress a girl and wants to be a rock and roll star, and he's trying and he's just failing. But then as he gets his wish, he makes the deal with the devil, he starts to get everything he wants, but it doesn't actually make him happy because he realizes there's no meaning behind any of it. That he doesn't know whether these are his true friends because it's his Satan's wish come true for him. So he just winds up missing everything he had. And I think I would have rather seen that's how Martin ends this. He hates what he's become. He doesn't want to kill people anymore. He just wants to go back to when things were simple for him. And to do that, then you have to change a lot of the course of this. So when he wakes up, he's just already this rock star. He's already on tour. He's thrown into everything. And then he just realizes he no longer wants it.
All right, I would watch that. I think for me the big thing with this movie was that it felt like there was never any stakes in the movie. Like,
yes,
it didn't feel like there was any besides the killing. There wasn't like a downside for him in this movie. There wasn't a danger. So I would want to do 2 things that this movie failed to do in my eyes. And the first is I want to see him have some growing pains. I want to see him suddenly have these abilities and know that he has the abilities, but not grasp the application of the abilities, right? Like, yeah, he wakes up one day and he's a virtuoso guitarist, but he's not automatically playing in front of crowds of millions of people, right? He's not automatically right at Madison Square Garden. Even though he's gifted with this talent now, he's still got to work his way through, through the ranks, if you will. So to me, he picks up this ability. He's at Guitar Center or Sam Ash or whatever, and the guy showing him the guitar sort of makes a little, hey, wouldn't it be great if you were like the greatest guitarist alive? Like a little off the cuff sort of thing that he agrees to, thinking he's speaking to maybe one of the employees or another guy who's looking for a guitar. And then we find out that guy is not he doesn't work there, then no one knows who he is. So now we start to climb, like he wakes up with the talent. He doesn't understand what's happening. It's growing. And there's a component in the movie already where there's like, they almost have like power meters, right? Like you can only go so long before you have to kill and regenerate your powers. So I'm going to tie the power bar, if you will, the life bar, to popularity instead of a duration of time or anything like that. So when he's the great guitar player playing at the local bar, he's just the great guitar player playing at the local bar. As the crowds start to grow, he starts to get a little weaker and a little weaker. And at one point, he gets hospital level sick. And this is when that guy from Sam Ash shows up again and more or less explains he's the devil and you've made a deal. And this is how you have to carry out this deal. You have to kill people for me. And you can't tell them that this is what's happening. And if you don't do it, you're going to be a tortured soul forever. And he does not want this arrangement. So it more or less becomes like almost a Brewster's Millions sort of situation where like he's purposely trying to crash and burn, but everybody loves it. He winds up being like a punk superstar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he winds up being like a Johnny Rotten, or Gigi Allen, where like he's doing all this vile, revolting things, and the crowds keep growing and growing and growing, and he hates it for himself. So near the end of the movie, basically what he does is, he's at this concert, and it's an outdoor concert, and there's a storm coming, and he knows the storm is coming, and he sees that the stage is compromised, but he doesn't do anything about it because he knows that when this storm comes through, it's going to wind up killing him. And that's all he wants, is to die. So he's going to let all these people in this crowd die so he can die. Because at least we've created stakes, and we've created danger, and we've created a reason for him to like carry himself in a particular way and not just be like an arrogant, prissy asshole. And that's kind of the direction I want to take it, because without the stakes, he's just a guy with a lot of talent who's got to stab some people occasionally, which, all right. So if you have a conscience, that's a little tough for you, but you can pay off your conscience. You can pay off your conscience if there's no other looming danger. So that's how I would reframe this movie.
Nice.
Brewster's Millions. Brewster's Millions with a fender.
Yeah. Everybody worried about, like, you're losing your mind. What are you doing?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
He jumped off the 3rd story building. He's crazy. We love it. We're going to go buy more tickets.
He just punched that baby.
Yeah.
And that baby was looking at me funny.
He put out songs that were similar to a bunch of Dead Milkmen songs, and we love it even more. He's on the radio every day now. I don't understand. So
yeah. Oh, and I would change the name of the movie.
Okay.
The Shock 'em Dead. Just anything that, because there's no shock 'ems in this, So yeah.
I have the storm is an electrical storm at the end of my movie, so that's the
so it works in your case.
He's actually the one who gets shock dead. So like it's Shock 'em Dead. You think it's like that's going to be his power, but it turns out that's his demise.
Yes, and it works there.
Yeah. So all in all, that's been our bloody take on this movie. If you have any questions or comments or concerns about Shock 'em Dead, and you should have a lot of concerns about this movie as we did, you can find us at all the socials. We're at Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter. It's all one word, One Bloody Take. We're also on TikTok at _bloody_take. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Substack by searching out One Bloody Take. Put out a new episode every Wednesday. Join us next week when we discuss 1990s Blood Games. I'm Paul.
And I'm Russ.
And thanks for listening to our Bloody Take.